in the not-so-distant future. Earth had become a popular place for training programs that welcomed beings from many different planets. Among these new arrivals was Zara, a cadet from a death world, a planet known for its extreme conditions and dangerous creatures. Zara stepped off the transport ship, her tall figure standing out among the other cadets. She had rough, strong features, and her skin had a unique texture that looked almost like bark. This made her both fascinating and intimidating to the others. As Zara walked through the training facility, she noticed the curious stares of her fellow cadets. Some whispered to each other, their eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. They had heard stories about Deathworlders, tales of their ability to survive in harsh environments and fight fierce predators. Zara felt the weight of their expectations, but she also felt a sense of pride. She had survived her home planet, and she was ready for any challenge that lay ahead. The training facility was massive, filled with high-tech equipment and simulation rooms. It buzzed with the energy of cadets preparing for their first day. Zara was excited but also anxious. She wanted to prove herself, to show that she belonged among these other trainees. However, she sensed a divide between herself and the rest. Of the group, many of the other cadets had come from peaceful planets, and they looked at her with both curiosity and caution. During the orientation, the instructor, a tall man with a commanding presence, introduced the training program. He emphasized teamwork, discipline, and the importance of learning from each other. Zara listened intently, eager to absorb every word. However, as the instructor spoke, she noticed a group of cadets whispering and laughing at her expense. Among them was a young man named Ryan, who seemed to take particular joy in making her feel unwelcome. As the first training exercise began, cadets were divided into small groups. Zara found herself paired with Ryan and two others. Lily and Max. Ryan smirked at her, clearly eager to demonstrate his superiority. He was confident, and it showed. Zara felt a knot tighten in her stomach. She took a deep breath and reminded herself to stay calm. The instructor explained the first task, a mock combat scenario where they would practice taking down a target. Zara felt a rush of excitement.
Ow.
This was her chance to show her skills. As they entered the simulation room, the atmosphere shifted. The walls were lined with advanced technology, and the air was filled with the hum of machinery. The group gathered around a holographic display that projected the target and the mission details. Ryan took charge, giving directions to Lily and Max. Zara stood quietly, observing their strategies. She noticed how they relied on each other's strengths, communicating clearly and effectively. When it was her turn to speak, she offered suggestions based on her experiences back home, but instead of listening, Ryan rolled his eyes and dismissed her ideas. "Stick to what you know, Deathworlder," he said mockingly. Zara's heart raced, and she felt a mix of anger and frustration bubbling inside her. She had trained hard for this moment, and she wouldn't let Ryan's words deter her. As the simulation began, the group had to move quickly. They each took positions around the target, ready to execute their plan. Zara was surprised at how well she adapted to the situation. Her instincts kicked in, and she moved with a grace that surprised even herself. She darted around obstacles, dodging virtual bullets and anticipating the target's movements. But as the simulation progressed, Ryan's attitude became more aggressive. Instead of working as a team, he began to push Zara aside, insisting on taking the lead. "I'll handle this," he said, charging ahead while leaving Zara and the others behind. Zara hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. She wanted to prove her worth, but Ryan's arrogance was making it difficult. However, she recognized that she had the skills to turn the tide. As Ryan rushed forward, Zara quickly assessed the situation. She spotted a weakness in the target's defense and decided to act. With a burst of energy, she sprinted past Ryan, using her speed and agility to reach the target first. The others watched in shock as she executed a perfect maneuver, taking down the virtual opponent with ease. A sense of triumph washed over her, but as she turned, she saw Ryan's face twisted in anger. "What was that?" he shouted, his voice dripping with disbelief. "You just got lucky." Zara's heart sank, but she refused to back down. "Luck or not, I did what needed to be done," she replied calmly. The instructor, who had been watching, nodded in approval. He recognized Zara's potential and saw the tension brewing within. The group, after the simulation, the cadets gathered in the debriefing room. The instructor praised Zara for her quick thinking and adaptability. "You demonstrated great skill today," he said, looking directly at her. "Teamwork is essential, but so is individual talent. Remember, you all have unique strengths that can contribute to the mission." Zara felt a swell of pride. For the first time, she felt that her abilities were acknowledged. But as she glanced at Ryan, she could see that he was not finished with her yet. In the following days, the training became more intense. The cadets faced various challenges, including obstacle courses and combat drills. Each time, Zara excelled, showing her resilience and strength. Yet Ryan continued to undermine her, making snide comments and trying to rally the others against her. During one exercise, the cadets were tasked with navigating through a dangerous terrain filled with simulated traps. Zara took the lead, guiding her team through the obstacles. They moved cautiously, but Ryan pushed for a more reckless approach. "We can't let her dictate how we do this," he said, trying to rally the others. Zara could feel the tension rising again. As the group debated their strategy, she took a deep breath. "We need to work together to survive. My planet has taught me how to navigate danger. Trust me on this," she said firmly. Slowly, some of the cadets began to listen. They recognized the knowledge Zara brought from her unique experiences. Ryan, however, remained defiant. He scoffed at the idea of taking advice from a Deathworlder. Despite the challenges she faced, Zara continued to push forward. She knew that her journey was just beginning, and she was determined to prove herself. The training was tough, but she was tougher. As she navigated the complexities of her new environment, she realized that she was not just fighting for acceptance. She was fighting to show that strength comes in many forms. Each day brought new trials, and Zara was ready for them. She was determined to break through the barriers that surrounded her, to show that she belonged in this world of stars and challenges. As she trained alongside her peers, she held on to the hope that one day they would see her not just as a Deathworlder, but as a valuable member of their team. Zara's journey was just beginning, and she was prepared to face whatever came next, no matter how difficult the path might be. With each challenge, she grew stronger, and each day brought her closer to proving her worth in a universe that was both vast and unforgiving. The training exercises at the facility continued to push Zara and her fellow cadets to their limits. After their initial mock combat scenario, the instructor introduced a series of challenges designed to test their skills, teamwork, and ability to adapt under pressure. However, the atmosphere remained tense, especially between Zara and Ryan. During the next session, the cadets were divided into teams for a series of tactical drills. Each team would face a different simulated combat situation where they had to work together to complete their mission successfully. Zara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as she was assigned to a new group, hoping to finally find some support among her peers. As the teams gathered, the instructor explained the rules. Each group would face a series of obstacles, and they would have to navigate through them while working as a unit. Zara looked around the room. She noticed the familiar faces of her classmates, some of whom were beginning to warm up to her. Ryan was still there, lurking in the background, ready to undermine her at any moment. The first challenge involved a simulated hostage rescue. The instructor briefed the teams on the scenario. A group of civilians was trapped in a building, and they needed to be freed while avoiding enemy fire. Zara's team discussed their strategy, and she offered several ideas based on her experiences. At home, she suggested that they use stealth to approach the building, as direct confrontation could lead to casualties. Some of her teammates nodded, recognizing the wisdom in her plan. "That makes sense," one of them said. "We should be careful." But Ryan interjected, shaking his head. "We can't just sneak around, we need to charge in and take control." His loud voice echoed in the room, and Zara felt the familiar frustration building inside her. "Charging in could get us all killed," Zara replied, keeping her tone calm. We need to be smart about this. The group was divided. Some agreed with Zara, while others sided with Ryan. The argument grew heated, and the instructor stepped in to restore order. He reminded them that they were here to learn from one another, not to argue. Listen to each other, he said firmly. You all have valuable ideas. Use them. When the exercise began, Zara took the lead. She guided her team through the fake streets, moving slowly and quietly. They crept closer to the building, using every bit of cover they could find. Zara felt her heart racing, but she focused on the mission. Her instincts kicked in, and she scanned the area for any signs of danger. As they approached the building, Zara signaled for her team to stop. She pointed out a guard standing near the entrance, watching for any movement. Looked at her, waiting for direction. We need to take him out quietly, she whispered. I'll create a distraction while you move in. Ryan rolled his eyes. This is a waste of time. Let's just go in. But Zara ignored him and moved into action. She threw a small object across the street, causing a loud noise. The guard turned to investigate, which gave her team the perfect opportunity to move in. They quickly and quietly took out the guard, just as Zara had planned. Inside the building, they found the hostages. Zara led the way, reassuring the civilians as they freed them. You're safe now, she said gently. Follow us, and we will get you out. Her calm demeanor helped ease their fears, and they followed her lead. The team worked together to escort the hostages out while keeping an eye on any potential threats. Zara felt a sense of pride as she watched her teammates cooperate, moving as one unit. They were starting to understand the importance of teamwork, and for the first time, she felt a sense of belonging. However, Ryan was still not on board. As they neared the exit, he shouted, "We should be taking out more guards. We're wasting time." His voice echoed through the building, and Zara felt irritation wash over her. We are doing fine, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. Let's just get everyone out safely. As they reached the exit, they came face to face with another group of guards. Zara's heart raced again, but she remained focused. We need to hold our position, she instructed. Let's wait for the right moment to move. Ryan, however, couldn't contain himself. Ignoring Zara's orders, he charged forward, yelling as he engaged the guards. We can take them! Go! His reckless decision caught everyone off guard, and chaos erupted as the guards returned fire. Zara felt a rush of anger and fear. This was not how they were supposed to operate. Get down, she shouted, pulling a civilian to the ground as shots rang out. The rest of her team followed her lead, taking cover. Zara's instincts kicked in again, and she quickly formulated a plan. We need to create a diversion, she said. Lily, throw a flashbang. Cover her. Lily nodded, and with Zara's guidance, they worked together to create a distraction. The flashbang went off, blinding the guards momentarily. Zara took advantage of the confusion and led her team out of the building, guiding the hostages to safety. Once outside, they regrouped, panting and shaken. Zara felt a mix of relief and frustration. They had completed the mission, but not without unnecessary risks. Ryan glared at her, still angry about the way things had unfolded. If you had just listened to me, we could have taken them all out. He spat. Zara shook her head, trying to keep her emotions in check. We completed the mission, didn't we? Everyone is safe. The instructor arrived, looking pleased with the outcome. Good job, team, he said. You handled the situation. Well, but remember, communication and teamwork are key. Zara. Excellent leadership in the field. Zara felt a surge of pride at the praise, but Ryan's scowl reminded her that not everyone shared her success. As they left the training room, she overheard him complaining to his friends about her. She's just a Deathworlder. She got lucky, he said, his voice filled with disdain. Zara tried to brush off his words, but they stung. She had worked hard to prove herself, and yet Ryan continued to undermine her. The next exercise would be a challenge, but she was determined to show everyone that she belonged there. The next day, cadets faced another challenge, an obstacle course that tested their speed, agility, and problem-solving skills. As they lined up at the start, Zara felt a mix of excitement and nerves. This was her chance to shine again. The bell rang, and they took off. Zara raced through the course, navigating the obstacles with ease. She leaped over barriers and crawled under nets, her body moving instinctively. Behind her, she could hear Ryan's voice urging his team to push harder. As they reached the final stretch, Zara felt her adrenaline surge. She spotted a challenging wall to climb and knew she had to be the first to conquer it. With a burst of energy, she sprinted to the wall and began to scale it. Her muscles burned, but she pushed through. Just as she reached the top, she heard Ryan's voice behind her. "I'm right behind you, Deathworlder," he shouted, trying to catch up. Zara reached the top and looked down, her heart racing. Felt a rush of triumph as she realized she was leading the pack. With one final push, she jumped down on the other side of the wall, landing gracefully. Her teammates cheered as she crossed the finish line first. Zara felt a wave of joy wash over her. She had proven herself once again as she caught her breath. She saw Ryan approach, his expression a mix of surprise and annoyance. "You got lucky again," he muttered. But Zara could see a hint of respect in his eyes. For the first time, she felt that maybe, just maybe, she was beginning to earn her place among the cadets. The training was tough, but Zara was tougher. She refused to let Ryan's negativity hold her back. With every challenge, she grew stronger, more determined to succeed. As the training program continued, the cadets faced even more demanding exercises. Zara's determination and skills shone brightly, but the tension with Ryan was still thick in the air. Despite her achievements, he seemed to find new ways to challenge her, often trying to undermine her confidence in front of others. One day, the instructor announced a live-fire exercise where they would be put into a real combat simulation. The cadets were excited but nervous. This exercise would involve real weapons, and safety was the top priority. The instructor gathered everyone and explained the rules. Each team would enter a simulation where they had to complete a mission while navigating enemy fire. They would need to work together and trust one another. Zara felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. She was ready for the challenge, but she also worried about Ryan's unpredictable behavior. As they were divided into teams, Zara found herself placed in a group with Ryan, Lily, and Max once again. She took a deep breath and reminded herself to stay focused before the simulation began. Zara tried to encourage her team to communicate and plan their strategy. "We need to listen to each other and stick together," she said, her voice steady. "If we work as a team, we can succeed." Ryan scoffed, crossing his arms. "You really think we can win just by talking? We need action, not words." Zara felt her frustration rising but held back her anger. "Action without a plan can lead to disaster," she replied. "Let's figure out our approach first." The instructor called them to the starting line, and the countdown began. 3, 2, 1, go. They rushed into the simulation, and Zara quickly took the lead, guiding her team through the initial obstacles. The environment was chaotic, with loud sounds and bright lights simulating a battlefield. Zara moved with purpose, her heart racing as she navigated through the challenges. As they approached a simulated enemy base, Zara spotted a few enemy targets. "We need to take them out quietly," she whispered, hoping the others would follow her lead. "Ryan, cover us while we flank from the side." "I'll do what I want," Ryan replied defiantly, charging ahead without waiting for a plan. Zara's stomach sank as she watched him run into the open. "Ryan, wait," she shouted, but it was too late. Ryan fired at the targets, and the enemy returned fire almost immediately. The loud sounds of simulated weapons filled the air, and chaos erupted around them. Zara quickly pulled her team into cover, trying to regroup. "Can't just rush in like that," she yelled over the noise. Lily and Max were shaken, but looked to Zara for guidance. "What do we do now?"
Lily asked,
her voice trembling. Zara took a moment to assess the situation. "We need to create a diversion. If we can distract them, we can move in and take them out more effectively." She could see the urgency in her teammates' eyes as they nodded, trusting her judgment. "Max, you take the left side and draw their fire. Lily, stay close to me. We'll move in from the right." The plan was risky, but Zara knew it was there. "Best chance." Max nodded and moved into position, while Zara and Lily crept along the side. As Max drew the enemy's attention, Zara and Lily moved quickly and quietly. They reached a spot where they could see the targets clearly. "On my signal?" Zara whispered, her heart racing. She watched as Max fired a few shots, drawing the enemy's fire away from them. Now, Zara and Lily sprang into action, firing at the enemy targets with precision. Zara felt a rush of adrenaline as they took down their opponents one by one. Simulation was intense, and the thrill of the challenge pushed her forward. But just as they were about to celebrate their success, they heard Ryan shouting again, "I got this. Watch me." He had charged forward again, ignoring Zara's plan. "Ryan, get back," Zara yelled, but he was too focused on proving himself. He fired wildly, and the enemy returned fire. In an instant, Ryan was caught in the open, and Zara's heart dropped. "No," she shouted, instinctively moving toward him. "Get down," she called out, and she dove to the ground, pulling Ryan down with her. They hit the dirt just as shots rang overhead. The simulation was chaotic, and for a moment, Zara felt fear grip her. "Why do you always have to be the hero?" Zara snapped, trying to keep her voice steady. "You're going to get us all killed." Ryan glared at her, his face flushed with anger and embarrassment. "I don't need your help," he shouted back, but Zara could see the fear in his eyes. Lily and Max quickly joined them, and they huddled together, trying to formulate a plan. "We need to get out of here," Max said urgently. "We can't stay out in the open." Zara took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "A team, or we will all fail," she said, her voice steady, despite the chaos. "Ryan, follow my lead this time. We can't let your ego get in the way." Finally, Ryan nodded, his expression shifting from anger to a reluctant acceptance. "Fine. What do we do?" Zara quickly outlined a plan. "We'll move together. Max, you create a distraction on the left while Ryan and I flank from the right. Lily, stay close to me. Need to act quickly." As they prepared to execute the plan, Zara felt a surge of determination. They moved as one, working together despite their earlier conflicts. Max rushed to the left, creating noise and drawing the enemy's attention. Zara and Ryan moved in sync. Taking advantage of the distraction, they worked together seamlessly, firing at the enemy targets and successfully neutralizing the threats. With each shot, Zara felt more empowered, and she could see Ryan's attitude shifting as well. As they finished the exercise, the instructor appeared, looking impressed. "Well done, team. You worked together effectively despite the earlier chaos." He turned to Zara. "Your leadership was commendable, especially in a tough situation." Zara felt a wave of pride wash over her. She had proven herself once again, and even Ryan seemed to have gained some respect for her. But as they regrouped, Zara noticed Ryan still struggling with his feelings. "Maybe next time, we can listen to each other," Zara suggested, hoping to mend the rift. Ryan looked at her, his expression softening. "Yeah, I guess I could have followed your plan better," he admitted reluctantly. Zara smiled, feeling a sense of relief. Perhaps they could find common ground after all. The team had faced a tough challenge, but they had emerged stronger together. As they left the simulation room, Zara felt a rush of excitement about what lay ahead. The training was difficult, but she was ready for whatever challenges came next. She had learned that teamwork was essential, and she was determined to continue building those connections with her peers. With each exercise, she felt more confident in her abilities. She was not just a Deathworlder, she was a valuable member of her team. And as she looked around at her friends, she realized that she was no longer just an outsider. She was part of something bigger, and she was ready to face whatever the universe had in store for her. As the days passed, the training program became tougher and more intense. Zara felt a sense of pride in her growth, but she also sensed that the challenges were only getting started. The instructor announced the next phase of training, which would focus on teamwork and strategy in more complex scenarios. The cadets were eager to prove themselves, but aware that they would need to rely on one another more than ever. One morning, the instructor gathered everyone in the main training hall. He explained that they would be facing a series of scenarios that simulated real combat situations. Each team would have to develop a strategy to complete their missions successfully. The stakes were high, and everyone felt the pressure. Zara looked around at her teammates, and she could see a mix of excitement and anxiety on their faces. They were no longer just individual cadets. They were a team. As they grouped together, Zara felt a wave of determination wash over her. She was ready to lead them once again. The first scenario involved a hostage situation. The team had to rescue civilians from a building while avoiding enemy fire. Zara quickly took the lead, guiding her teammates as they discussed their approach. "We should use the element of surprise," she suggested. "If we can get in quietly, we can take out the guards before they know we are there." Ryan nodded, and this time, he seemed more willing to listen. "I agree. We can split into two groups. One group can create a distraction while the other moves in for the rescue." "Good idea," Zara said, feeling encouraged. "Let's assign roles. I'll lead the distraction team, and Ryan, you can take charge of the rescue team." As they planned, Zara felt a sense of unity among her teammates. We're working together, and it felt good. After deciding on their strategy, they moved to the simulation room, ready for the challenge ahead. The simulation began, and Zara felt her heart racing. She led her team toward the building, staying low to avoid detection. As they approached, she could see the guards patrolling outside. "Remember, we need to be quiet," she whispered, signaling for everyone to stay alert. When they reached their positions, Zara turned to her team. "Max, you and Lily will create the distraction. I'll draw the guards' attention, and then we'll move in." Max and Lily nodded, and Zara took a deep breath. They were ready. As she stepped out from their hiding spot, she shouted, "Hey, over here!" The guards turned, startled by her sudden appearance. Zara felt a rush of adrenaline as she sprinted away from the building. The guards followed her, leaving the entrance unguarded. "Now," Zara shouted, and Max and Lily rushed into the building, quickly neutralizing the remaining guards. Zara could hear the sounds of the simulation around her. Loud shots and shouts filled the air. She led the guards away. Dodging their fire as she ran, Zara's instincts kicked in, and she ducked behind a nearby wall, catching her breath. She could hear her teammates inside the building, working quickly to rescue the hostages, as the sounds of the struggle echoed around her. Zara felt a sense of pride in her teammates. They were working together effectively, and she knew that they would succeed. After a few tense moments, Max's voice came through the comms. "We've got the hostages. We're moving out." Zara turned to see them coming out of the building, leading the civilians to safety. Just as they reached the exit, a guard appeared, aiming his weapon at them. Zara's heart raced again, but her training kicked in. She quickly repositioned herself and aimed her weapon at the guard. "Get down," she shouted, firing her weapon and hitting the guard just in time. The guard fell to the ground, and the hostages were safe. Zara felt a rush of relief as her teammates joined her, guiding the civilians to safety. Once they regrouped outside, the instructor approached, looking impressed. "Well done, team. You worked together seamlessly, and your strategy was effective. Zara, your leadership was crucial in this mission." Zara beamed with pride, and her teammates congratulated one another. They had faced a tough challenge, but they had come through as a unit. As they left the simulation room, Zara could see the respect in Ryan's eyes. He nodded at her, a silent acknowledgement of her growth as a leader. The training continued, and with each exercise, Zara felt more confident. She was no longer just a Deathworlder. She was a respected member of the team. The bond between her and her teammates grew stronger. They began to understand each other better. One afternoon, the instructor announced a surprise exercise. It would be a night mission, and the cadets needed to use their skills to navigate a dark and complex terrain. Zara felt a spark of excitement. Night missions were different, and she was eager to test her abilities in this new environment. As they prepared for the exercise, Zara gathered her team. "This is going to be challenging," she said. "We need to rely on our senses and stay quiet. We can't alert any enemies." Ryan, now more receptive to her leadership, agreed. "We should stick close to each other and communicate clearly. Let's use hand signals to avoid making noise." The team nodded, and they set out into the darkness. The night was filled with unfamiliar sounds, and Zara felt her heart race. She focused on her surroundings, using all her training to stay alert. As they moved through the dark terrain, Zara led her team with confidence. They encountered obstacles, but Zara was quick to adapt. She used her instincts to navigate through the challenges, and her teammates followed her lead. Suddenly, they heard the sounds of distant voices. Zara signaled for everyone to stop. She crouched low, trying to listen. "There are guards nearby," she whispered. "We need to find another way around." Ryan nodded, his expression serious. "Let's move quietly. We can't afford to be seen." Zara felt a surge of adrenaline as they carefully maneuvered around the guards. They moved in silence, staying hidden in the shadows. Zara's heart raced as they approached their target, a simulated enemy base. When they reached the base, Zara took a moment to assess the situation. She could see guards patrolling and obstacles blocking their path. "We need to create a distraction again," she said quietly. "Lily, can you throw something to draw their attention?" Lily nodded and pulled out a small object from her pack. She threw it in the opposite direction, creating a loud noise. The guards turned, and Zara seized the opportunity. "Now!" And Zara led her team forward, moving quickly and quietly. They navigated through the obstacles, and as they approached the entrance, Zara felt a surge of excitement. They were close to completing their mission. Inside the base, they encountered more guards. Zara took charge, directing her teammates as they engaged in a careful battle. They worked together, relying on their training and instincts to take down the enemies without alerting the others as they fought. Zara felt a sense of pride in her team. They had come so far together, and their bond was stronger than ever. They were no longer just individuals, they were a unit. Once they neutralized the threats, they secured the area and completed their mission. The instructor appeared, looking pleased. "Excellent work, team. You handled the night mission with skill and teamwork. Zara, your leadership was once again impressive." Zara felt a wave of pride wash over her. She had proven herself time and time again, and she could see the respect in her teammates' eyes. They had faced challenges together, and they had emerged stronger as a team. As they left the training room that night, Zara felt a sense of accomplishment. She had grown in ways she never thought possible. The journey had not been easy, but with each challenge, she had learned more about herself and her abilities. She was ready for whatever lay ahead. The universe was vast, and she was prepared to face it head-on, alongside her teammates. Together, they could overcome anything. As the final week of training approached, the cadets felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The instructor informed them that they would participate in a final exercise that would test everything they had learned. This would be their chance to demonstrate their skills and teamwork in a real-life scenario. The stakes were high, and everyone wanted to prove themselves, especially Zara. The instructor gathered all the cadets one last time. "This final exercise will simulate a full-scale mission," he explained. "You will need to work together to complete your objectives. This is your chance to show me what you can do as a team." Zara felt a wave of determination wash over her. She had worked hard to earn her place, and she was ready to lead her team through this challenge. As they prepared for the exercise, she gathered her teammates together. "This is it, everyone. We've trained for this moment, and I know we can succeed. Let's stick to our plan and support each other." Ryan, who had become more respectful and cooperative during their training, nodded. "I'm ready. Show them what we can do." The rest of the team expressed their enthusiasm, and Zara felt a sense of unity among them. The day of the exercise arrived, and the cadets gathered at the training facility early in the morning. The atmosphere was tense but filled with anticipation. The instructor explained the details of the mission. They would need to infiltrate a simulated enemy base, rescue hostages, and gather intelligence while avoiding detection. As they entered the simulation area, Zara felt her heart race with excitement. The environment was designed to look and feel like a real battlefield. They could hear distant sounds of explosions and gunfire, adding to the realism. Zara took a deep breath to steady herself. She knew they had to stay focused. The team moved cautiously through the terrain. Using the skills they had developed over the weeks, Zara led them, making sure to communicate clearly. Stay low and keep quiet, she reminded everyone. They moved in a tight formation, making sure to cover each other as they advanced, as they approached the enemy base. Zara could see guards patrolling the area. She turned to her team and whispered, "We need to create a distraction again. Max, you and Lily can cause a noise on the left side while Ryan and I take the right." Max and Lily nodded, ready to put the plan into action. Zara could see the determination in their eyes, and it filled her with confidence. As they prepared, she felt a sense of pride in how far they had come as a team. Max and Lily moved to the left, and Zara and Ryan crept toward the right. Just as they had practiced, Max threw a rock to create a loud sound. The guards turned in that direction, giving Zara and Ryan the perfect opportunity to slip into the base undetected. Inside the base, the atmosphere changed. It was dark and filled with tension. Zara felt her senses heighten as they navigated through the dimly lit corridors. They moved carefully, staying alert for any signs of danger. The mission was intense, and Zara could feel the weight of her responsibilities as the leader. They soon reached a room where hostages were being held. Zara's heart raced with determination. "We need to move quickly," she whispered. "Lily, stay with the hostages. Max, keep watch at the door. Ryan and I will secure the area." The team sprang into action. Zara and Ryan moved to check for any guards while Max kept an eye on the entrance. Zara felt a surge of adrenaline as they worked together, relying on the skills they had developed during training, just as they finished securing the area. They heard footsteps approaching. Zara's heart raced. "Get down," she whispered urgently. They quickly took cover, holding their breath as a guard entered the room. Zara could see the guard looking around, unaware of their presence. Zara signaled to Ryan, and they both prepared to take action. With a swift motion, they sprang into action, taking down the guard before he could raise an alarm. They worked seamlessly. Together, their training paying off in that crucial moment. Once the guard was neutralized, Zara turned to the hostages. "You're safe now. We're here to get you out," she said, her voice calm and reassuring. The hostages looked terrified but relieved to see them. As they began to escort the hostages out, they heard a loud alarm blaring throughout the base. Zara felt a rush of panic. "We need to move quickly," she shouted. "Ryan, lead the way." The team sprang into action, guiding the hostages through the dark corridors. Zara felt the weight of the situation pressing down on her. They had to reach the exit before the guards were alerted. As they ran, Zara could hear the sound of footsteps behind them. "The guards were coming. Keep moving," she urged, pushing the team forward. They reached a door that led outside, but it was locked. Zara felt a surge of frustration. "We need to find another way." Ryan quickly scanned the area and spotted a window nearby. "We can climb out there," he suggested. Zara nodded, knowing they had no time to waste. They helped the hostages through the window, urging them to move quickly. Zara was the last one to climb through. Just as she was about to exit, she heard voices approaching. The guards were getting closer. She felt a rush of adrenaline as she slipped out of the window and landed on the ground outside. Once they were all out, Zara led the group to a safe distance from the base. They found cover behind some bushes, panting heavily. The adrenaline was still pumping through her veins, and she felt a mix of relief and tension. "We did it," Max exclaimed, looking at the hostages with joy. The hostages were shaken, but grateful to be safe. As the noise from the alarm faded, Zara took a moment to catch her breath. They had faced a dangerous situation, but they had worked together to overcome it. She felt proud of her team and their ability to adapt under pressure. Just then, the instructor arrived, looking impressed. "Excellent work, team. You handled the mission with skill and teamwork. You should all be proud of yourselves." Zara felt a wave of pride wash over her. They had succeeded, and it felt good to know that they had all played a part in it. As they regrouped, Ryan turned to her with a newfound respect. "You really led us well, Zara," he said sincerely. "Thanks, Ryan. It was a team effort," she replied, smiling. The bond between the cadets had grown stronger. They had faced challenges together and learned to trust one another. Zara realized that they were no longer just a group of individuals. They were a team. As they left the training facility, Zara felt a sense of accomplishment. She knew that this experience had changed her. She had grown stronger, both as a leader and as a person. The journey had not been easy, but she had proven that she could face any challenge. The universe was vast, and Zara was ready for whatever came next. She felt a sense of excitement about the future, knowing that she had the support of her teammates. Together, they could overcome anything, and she was eager to see where their journey would take them next. As they walked away from the training facility, Zara smiled, feeling grateful for the friends she had made and the lessons she had learned. She was ready to embrace the next chapter of her life, knowing that she was no longer just a Deathworlder. She was a vital part of a team, and together they had the strength to face whatever lay ahead.